fucked a fat girl one time. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm not talking like, she was sort of like chubby or a bit of a porker. No. I'm talking about like a fucking whale. I mean, like an orca. I mean, like she was minimum 1.5 times me. Okay? I'm a fairly big guy, right? She was bigger than me. And fucking her, man, it was like, like swimming in an ocean of flesh. It was Jesus. It was at once horrifying and hypnotic. It was like the weirdest fucking experience. Yeah, it was funny as fuck. Yeah, I did that back in, 2001, was it? 2001, I think. Yeah, I must have been like 33, 32 years old, something like that. Yeah, I was traveling through Alaska, and I met this girl. I'm not going to go into the details because maybe she's still around. Maybe she'll sue me, right? But anyway, I met this girl and wound up banging her. And I banged her strictly to get her, to check her off my bucket list. Yeah, because at that time, the shit that you do when you're young. Yeah, at that time, I had like this list of girls that I wanted to bang at some point in my life, right? I'd banged models, I'd banged actresses, and I was thinking, I want to bang like a whole bunch of different girls, and like I remember at that time I had yet to bang a black girl. I'd banged Asian girls. And when I fucked this fat girl, she was, just tick off my list. I banged a fat girl, and not just a fat girl. And I'm telling you, she was enormous. But see, banging some fat chick to get her off your bucket list, your list of sexual escapades that you want to carry out before you're off this mortal coil. I mean, that's all good and fine, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. On the contrary, right? It's pretty fucking funny. But when I say don't settle for a fat girl, I'm talking about a relationship, okay? It's all good and fine to sport fuck a whale. But being in any kind of relationship with such a woman, are you out of your fucking mind? No! Now, of course, fat girls are going to say, what's wrong with you? Don't you like a woman with a little bit of meat on her bones? Yeah, I do, but I don't want like the whole fucking meat section on the single set of bones. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jesus Christ, these women, right? They are enormous. And the fact of the matter is, see, there is something inherently wrong with them. As simple as that. It's not that they're just some like ordinary girl and they're just fat. No. They're fucked up. They're damaged. They're women you want nothing to do with, for crying out loud. I mean, come on. A woman who's weighing, 250, 300 pounds or more, right? As there are out there, right? What the fuck you think is wrong with her, right? She's got head issues that you cannot solve. Because are you a shrink with a lot of experience? Yes, no, maybe? Huh? No, she's got head issues. You want nothing to do with her. Apart from the fact that she's grotesque, because she is. I don't give a shit about this stuff of like, oh, she's got a great personality, and oh, she's a lovely person, and she helps the elderly, and she, knits macrame or some shit like that. Come on. They're repulsive. It's as simple as that. And these women who are, 1,000 pounds or whatever the fuck, right? Jesus, I look at them and, I lose the urge to eat the second I see one. That's the long and short of it. Or the fat and skinny of it, right? Because, yeah, these women, they do not take care of themselves, right? And the only reason that they are that fat, it's not because of their thyroid condition. It's not because, the culture made them like that, or that there's like this thin privilege or some shit like that. No! The reason these women are so fucking fat is because they don't stop eating, for crying out loud. They have no self-control. One of the deadly sins of the, Catholic teachings is gluttony. Yeah, and it is a sin. They have no self-control, these women, and so they eat and eat and eat and eat, and they are fucked up. They are damaged, and that's why you shouldn't even think about such a girl. But then, why am I doing this video? I mean, I find it completely unnatural and wrong for a guy to be dating some whale, right? And I'm advising you who are watching to not do it under any set of circumstances. Well, then obviously it must be the case that a lot of guys do date such girls. And that's the thing, they do. There are a lot of guys, decent guys, worthwhile guys, nice guys, hard-working guys, smart guys, who settle for a fat girl. What the fuck? I told you guys in my video, don't settle. You can find it right here. Yeah, never settle. That should be tattooed on the inside of your skull, right? And that goes for settling for a fat girl. Yeah? It doesn't matter how nice she is. It doesn't matter how, wonderful she is in all kinds of metrics. She's fat. And therefore, that is a signifier of something very bad, but more to the point insofar as settling is concerned. See, a man, well, the fact of the matter is, what I've noticed is that, see, you get what you settle for. If you decide that your standards are high, the things that you are going to get, well, they are of quality. But if you decide to settle, that is, if you lower your standards, well, then you're going to get the dregs now, aren't you? Yeah, that's what's going to happen. You are going to get the dregs, and the dregs of the sexual marketplace are fatties, orcas. That's the bottom of the barrel, buddy. Yeah. Do you want that? Do you want to settle for the bottom of the barrel? See, I'm no great shakes. I'm not like this super sexy guy. I got my paunch, right? I got my double chin here, I got a lazy left eye. I'm not too socially adroit. Yeah, but the women I have banged, the women I married, the women who have been my girlfriends, they've all been universally hot. Yeah, every single one. Because I don't settle. I prefer to be alone than with some reject. Because those are my standards. And because those are my standards, what do I attract? What kind of woman gravitates towards me? The hot girl. The top of the barrel. That's what gravitates towards me, because I don't settle. See, in life, of course, you have to make compromises. Of course, sometimes it's impossible to get the best, right? But in the important things in life, for instance, the woman you're with, the woman that you form a relationship with and have children with and what have you, you can't be settling, okay? Because there are some things that you can compromise on, and it's okay. Like, for instance, where are we going to go to lunch? Are we going to go to the Thai place, or are we going to go to the Italian place? And you don't want to go to the Thai place. You really want to go to the Italian place. But in the end, you go to the Thai place. Big fucking deal, right? Yeah, it doesn't really matter because that's trivial, inconsequential. It's just fucking lunch, right? But when it comes to the woman that you are going to spend the rest of your life with, the woman who will potentially be the mother of your children, the woman who will potentially be your future ex-wife, right? I mean, come on. What do you want? Do you want bottom of the barrel or top tier? I mean, I made my choice. I chose to only go with top tier women. And that's what I get, top tier women. It's a conscious choice that you make. Does that mean that sometimes, I'm not with a woman, that I've been alone? Fuck yeah, sure. When you have standards, when you have high standards, it's inevitable that sometimes, reality does not meet those expectations. Yeah, and in point of fact, most of the time, reality is not going to meet your expectations. But see, it's sort of like, how could I put it? I'm trying to think of a metaphor of like slipping, of like getting back into addiction or something like that. That's what I'm sort of like circling around in my head, because the point I'm trying to make is that, see, it only takes one. It only takes the one time. It only takes the one time whether you settle or whether you maintain your standards. Whether you decide to, okay, fine, I'm gonna give a try of having a relationship with this porker. Or you say to yourself, no, this girl, she's just fat and slovenly, and I don't want to settle. It only takes the one time, okay? Just like drug addicts, okay? You see drug addicts, they have temptation all around them, and what happens? They slip up the one time and they're back, shooting up heroin in a fucking, back alleyway, right? Yeah, well, you have to think of yourself as a drug addict, okay? You're going to be a drug addict, a recovering drug addict. And what is your drug? Settling. And what are you going to do? Not settle. That's how you have to focus the situation. Yes. Because when you settle, you become less. Oh yeah. You see those guys, like you might have known them in high school or something, and they were great guys, and they had everything going for them, right? They were smart, they were popular, this, that, the other, and their lives didn't end too much. I mean, they didn't amount to much, right? And why do you think that was? Because they settled. They settled a little bit at a time. They settled, on the issue of, not going to the best college, just going to the community college. Not dating or marrying the hottest girl, but just, not trying to get the best job, but just the good enough job. See, our lives are a series of compromises, or a series of decisions where you decide not to compromise. And that determines the outcome of your life. Yeah. I mean, you decide that you're going to go to a shitty-ass school and get a shitty-ass life, well, then, that's going to be your destiny. But if you decide not to, if you decide to go for the highest, for the best, for quality, well, then, maybe you don't get to the top-tier school, but you get to a really goddamn good school. You see what I'm saying? I mean, in my own case, I remember when I applied to college, right? I applied to college and I decided I'm going to go to the Ivy Leagues. I'm going to apply only to Ivy League and top tier school. Fuck the safety school, fuck everything else. I'm just going to go to the top school, right? And I had my heart set on Harvard, right? I didn't get accepted to Harvard. Yeah, I got the thin letter from Harvard, the thin envelope from Harvard, right? But I got everywhere else. I got into Dartmouth, I got into Stanford, Johns Hopkins, Duke, every place. Yeah, Yale. Didn't want to go to Yale because they're all fucking gay, but that's another issue, right? See, I got in everywhere I applied to, except for fucking Harvard. Big fucking deal. I had my choice, but you see what I mean? I didn't compromise. And when I was applying, see, I was like, what? Well, I was at 22. And I was doing it in Chile. And this woman who advised expats in Chile to apply to college, she was telling me that I should apply to Connecticut College or Manhattanville College. And I was like, what the fuck is that? I've never even heard of them at the time, right? And, all due respect to alumni of Connecticut College and Manhattanville College or whatever the fuck, but, I didn't want to go there. I wanted the best, and I didn't compromise. And same with women. Same with women. Fat girl. Okay, this video, I'm getting away from what I'm trying to say, but to focus it back on fat girls. See, you got to keep something in mind insofar as men and women are concerned. Women control sexual opportunity, okay? A guy always wants to fuck, but whether he fucks or not is going to depend on the woman, not the man, right? The guy's always on, and the woman says yay or nay. But insofar as relationships are concerned, men hold all the cards. Because women want relationships. It's their de facto mode. Yeah. And it's because of fucking biology, right? I mean, and any fucking feminist SJW loser who's watching this shit right now, who says like, no, it's not like that. Fuck off, you idiot. It is. Women want a relationship because it's their natural instinct because of their drive for procreation. And they want to have a relationship with a man. It's the man who decides whether he's going to have a relationship with a woman or not. You're the guy. You decide. You decide whether you're going to have a relationship with a fat girl or not. You decide, how you are going to proceed with your life. You are the guy in charge. Yeah, and you know what they say about the people in charge, the bosses, right? It's not that they work. It's that they decide. Okay? That's the nature of being the boss. You have to make decisions, and you have to make the right fucking decisions, okay? And you have to understand where you can compromise and where you cannot compromise. You should never compromise with fat girls because she'll just pull you down. She'll just pull you down and you'll be just a pathetic fuck who married some porker, and everybody will laugh at you. And you say to me like, oh, I don't care about what other people think. Bullshit. We all care about what other people think of us. Yeah? Do you think that I don't get a little bit of a thrill, of a little bit of a kick when people see my wife or girlfriend and they're like, wow, she's hot? Fuck yeah. Of course I get it. Of course I get that little thrill. And do they treat me different? Fuck yeah, they do. Yeah, they most certainly do. Okay? Because that's the way of nature, because we're fucking animals. Never forget that, okay? Now, a final note. Oh man, this video has been all over the fucking place. But okay, a final note. And this is an important note. I understand why guys settle for fat girls. I understand. I mean, the fat girls, when a guy decides not to settle for them, right? They freak the fuck out, right? They freak the fuck out and like say, oh, you got a little dick, or you know, this, that, the other. They question your masculinity, all kinds of crap. That's just, this is bullshit, okay? But from the point of view of a guy who settles for a fat girl, see, it's because he's lonely and he is deeply insecure. He's lonely, and so he wants somebody in his life, you know? It's not just for the fucking, it's for the companionship, right? So it's perfectly natural. So you're alone, you don't want to feel this empty ache in your heart, and so you want somebody to sort of like help you along, right? Help you along, help you to alleviate this loneliness. And here's the fat girl. The fat girl, you know, your buddy or whatever, you know, you met her, however, in school, whatever the fuck, right? And yeah, she alleviates that feeling of loneliness, okay? So on the one hand, there's this desire to alleviate this feeling of loneliness. And on the other, there's this fear that in the future, which stretches out ahead of you, it looks like such a lonely road. And you think to yourself, well, you know, in the future, I'm never going to get a hot girl. I'm never going to get a girl as hot as this one. Or even as good as this one. Even if she's a fat porker, you're saying to yourself, you know, I'm never, ever, ever going to, she's it for me, because in the future, I'm not going to have anything better. And you give up. Do not fucking do that. Because I am here to tell you, from experience, I am 51 fucking years old. And so, you know, I've made a lot of fucking mistakes in my life, but one of the great things about being 51 years old is that I have seen shitloads. And I'm here to tell you that no matter how shitty the moment you are living in is right now, it's gonna get better. It will for sure get better. And if you think that the woman that you're thinking about settling with is the best you're gonna ever be able to do in your long life, I'm here to tell you, man, this is not true. This is not true. There will be more and better opportunities in the future. Shitloads better opportunities in the future. Oh yeah. I've told the story before, I think. And if I've told it before, well, you know, I'm an old man who repeats himself. So, back in like 2009, I think, 2010, something like that, I was dating this girl. She was 19 years old. She was smoking fucking hot. I mean, she was so fucking hot. I mean, she was just oh man, just blew my fucking mind, right? She was this 19-year-old thing, 5'6", tight body, perfect tits, perfect ass. I mean, just perfect, right? And I remember one time, you know, we'd finished fucking, we're at my place, and we're like watching TV after sex, and something comes on, and she starts laughing her head off. Something I said, or something that TV happened, a joke, what have you, and we're laughing our asses off. She's laughing her ass off, right? And I'm thinking to myself, at that moment, I thought to myself, this is the best girl I'm ever gonna have in my life. I'm never gonna get a girl hotter than this one. 2 years later, I'd already broken up with her, and I wound up marrying a girl who was hotter than her. Oh yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing. See, life changes. Life brings more opportunities. So no matter what you think now, in the future, there'll be more opportunities and better opportunities. And insofar as your loneliness, well, you got to make friends with loneliness. Yeah, you cannot allow loneliness to dictate your actions. You cannot allow any emotion to dictate your actions. And loneliness is an emotion, it's a feeling. And you cannot take paths or do things that will have an impact for the rest of your life based on, you know, a momentary passing feeling of loneliness. You can't marry a fat girl just because you happen to be lonely at that given moment and you figure, well, you know, this is the best I can do, so settle. No, you can't do that. Don't. Oh yeah, and a final note. I guess it's a personal note. A lot of guys, a lot of girls, a lot of people are going to watch this video and say, you know, Coach, you're a fucking asshole. You're a fucking dickhead. You're a fucking bastard. And by the way, whenever you're around a fat girl, tell her. Yeah, just tell her outright. Say to her face, without any compunction, without any kind of recourse to fake politeness. Tell her that you don't want to date her because she is fat. Tell her to her face. Yeah, because see, one of the problems that we're having is that so many of these girls are fat because there isn't any kind of pressure on them to lose weight. Yeah, and the pressure, where does it come from? It comes from men. It comes from us. We have to be the ones who tell them, hey, chick, whatever your name is, you're fucking fat. Lose the fucking weight. Oh yeah. And see, I have told my girlfriends when they're gaining weight. And they don't like it. I don't care. Because I don't want to be around a fat girl. No, I want to be around a thin, fit, healthy woman. And if she starts gaining weight and plumping out, I just tell her, yeah. And usually once is enough. If I have to tell her twice, well, I've never actually had to tell them twice. Because girls need that. They need a guy to tell them. Just as they need a guy to tell them that they look wonderful in their dress and that their makeup is fine, because they need this, they also need a man to tell them when they're fat. Yeah. It's a psychological need. Yeah, so don't be afraid of telling a girl that she's fat. No. Be self-confident about it. Yeah? I mean, a girl is fat, you just go ahead and tell her, look, honey, sweetheart, you're fat. You're getting fat. Or if you keep on ballooning like this, I'm going to dump you. And if she keeps on ballooning, you dump her. Yes, of course. Let me ask you this. See, if a girl cheats on you, would you put up with her? No, of course not. She cheats on you, you dump her, right? Yeah, okay, so getting fat, it's not an either or like cheating. It's more like a grayscale kind of thing, right? But it's going in the same fucking direction. She's becoming a woman you don't want in your life. So tell her. Be self-confident about it. And fuck her feelings. She doesn't like it? Too fucking bad. Life sucks. Get a helmet.